you guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very fun video for you guys today. We're talking about Holy Grail makeup products. I love doing these videos every so often. It has been over a year since my last one and I have some new products to share with you guys today. I really limited myself this time. We are doing my top 5 Holy Grail makeup products currently. I can't wait to share them with you guys. You've probably heard me talk about some of these before, but I think you might be surprised at what actually made the cut today. And I'll explain my reasons behind why these specific ones made the cut. Should be fun. Hope you guys are excited about it. Before we get into all the makeup, I want to give a special welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me today. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that before you leave and make sure that your notifications are turned on. But for now, let's get right to the products. All right, so these aren't in any particular order. I have 5 here. I do have a bonus runner-up that I couldn't not mention. We'll get to that at the end, but let's start with this one first, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. I've been a long time fan of this. Since it came out, I got it right after it was released. This is the Fair Light version. This is such a great cream bronzer. You guys might know if you've been following me for the last couple of years, I've really gone over to the cream bronzer and blush side of things. I do occasionally still use my powder blushes and bronzers, but as my skin gets older, I just find that I need that added hydration. It helps me out so much, whereas a powder takes hydration away from my cheeks. Having a cream product adds it back to my cheeks. And this particular formula I like, especially because it doesn't take coverage away from what I have applied underneath. Now, again, because I'm a little bit older, I have a lot of discoloration on my skin that I have to work very hard to strategically cover up certain areas. So I really hate when I put something too creamy or liquidy on my cheeks and it kind of pulls some of that coverage off. That does happen with some products, not all of them, but this one in particular, I almost feel like it adds coverage, but in a way that's not too heavy. It's such a great shade for me. It's slightly cool to where it can sculpt a little bit, but it's not so cool that it looks ashy on my skin. I definitely don't need a lot of contouring because I'm a little bit older. I have more narrow face and I just don't think contouring works very good for me. So I need something that brings warmth and life to my face, and I feel like this does both of those things. The formula is great, the color is great. It's so easy to blend and apply. I can't criticize anything about this except for the price. It is pretty expensive, but even with the price, you get so much product in here that I actually think it makes it worth the higher price tag. This thing will last you forever. It has 0.74 ounces. I mean, that's almost as much as you get from a foundation. That's so much product. Not many things give you that much. So absolutely love this bronzer. I did mention in a recent video that I may have found a drugstore dupe. Go back and watch my most recent upload or keep an eye on my favorites video that's coming out soon and I will explain to you guys what that is. But for now, had to mention this one. I've had it for so long. I know it very well. It's just my favorite bronzer in my collection for sure. The next Holy Grail of mine would have to be my Flower Beauty Serum Concealer. This has quickly risen way to the top of my favorite concealers in my collection. Now, I will say this one and my Physicians Formula are really neck and neck when it comes to my favorite concealers, but the reason I picked this one as my Holy Grail is because of its coverage level. This might be the highest coverage thinner formula concealer that I have ever tried. It works so well, particularly on my dry skin. It gives me hydration, but it also doesn't crease. It's not overly thick or heavy or cakey looking, but it still covers everything that I need it to cover. The only subtle downside to this concealer is that it doesn't come in a huge range of shades, which is pretty common with drugstore concealers. I usually have to mix 2 or 3 different shades to get it to work perfectly for me. But that said, I always like having more than one shade of a concealer because I feel like you need different shades for different areas of your face. Unfortunately, this one is drugstore, it's affordable, and I'm telling you guys, the coverage level of this beats some of my favorite high-end concealers. It is so fantastic. So I have it on today. All these products I am wearing on my face today, by the way. And I actually used a light coverage foundation today. So most of the coverage that you're seeing on my face comes from this concealer, and you don't need to use very much because it just has so much pigment in it. And it wears well. I absolutely love it. I think if you have dry skin, if you're a little bit older, you want something thin that's also gonna cover. I don't know that this can be beat. Okay, I'm gonna talk about an eyeshadow palette today. I normally don't mention eyeshadow palettes in my Holy Grail videos because I have so many that I love. It's really hard to pick. But if ever there was a Holy Grail eyeshadow palette, I feel like this would be the one, and it is a little bit on the newer side. It is the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream palette. You guys, this is the perfect color story, especially for a smaller eyeshadow palette. This is so well done. The shimmers are perfect. You get like a mid-tone shimmer and a lighter shimmer. You get two perfect kind of light and medium mattes and then a nice dark shade. I feel like this would work for quite a few different preferences, different skin tones. It's just the perfect neutral palette. I don't know how else to explain this. It actually kind of reminds me, not exactly, but it kind of gives me color-wise vibes of my Nabla Cutie Nude palette. If you guys have been watching me for a while, I'm obsessed with this palette. I kind of feel like I'm like the only person in the world that is. It doesn't even have the most amazing reviews, but the color story of this palette is so perfect. It's kind of brown, but it's kind of pink. It's kind of warm and cool at the same time, but it's also like none of those things. Okay, that was a terrible description, but you have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. It's just a very unique color story that it's neutral, but has just the like tiniest drop of pink and color in it that makes it very soft and feminine and natural looking. And that's kind of how I feel about this one, but I would say this one's even less. This one has a little bit more pink even than this one right here, but it kind of is that same way. It's a little bit taupey, but it has a touch of pink in it and a little bit of brown. It's just a good basic neutral. It's not too warm or too cool, but it gives you everything you need from light to dark, matte to shimmer. It really is a perfect little palette. I think if you could combine any 5 shades and like the perfect combination, this is it. I am wearing it on my eyes today and it's just a very basic look, but it's perfect. I really can't find anything to criticize about this palette. It is so well done. I love her mini palettes, but this I think I would have to rank as my #1. Let's talk about a lip liner. A lip liner in general would be a holy grail product for me. Again, because I'm getting a little bit older. I would not have said this 5 years ago, but as I've crossed over my 40s, every year I feel like my lips are kind of getting a little bit more lined, a little bit smaller. They lose some of their life and color that they had when I was on the younger side. So I need a lip liner that's gonna last and it's going to help to shape and bring life and color and plumpness back to my lips. And my very favorite lip liners right now are the About Face lip liners. I have a lot that I love, but I have particularly fallen in love with these lip liners. I've been talking a lot about them over the last year. And if I had to pick one shade, I'd go with this one. This is the shade False Alarm. It's just a good, basic, kind of darker nude shade. I do like something lately that's a little bit darker, that's gonna give me a little bit of a shadow underneath, particularly my lower lip, because I feel like it just helps to plump up my lips by overlining them just a little bit in the center. This is the shade right here. It's kind of like a warmer medium pink or rose tone. It's really beautiful. You can go in with just like a light layer and kind of smudge it out to get a lighter amount of color, or you can go a little bit more heavy to get a darker color if you want. You can top it with any lip gloss or any lipstick. And these just wear so incredibly long on me. They're a really good formula. They kind of remind me of a formula in between like a MAC lip pencil that are a little bit more stiff and something a little bit more creamy and long wearing, say like the Buxom lip liners or the LA Girl lip liners. Kind of in between there. They're stiffer than my most creamy long wearing lip liners, which I kind of like because you can be a little bit more precise with them, but they are absolutely budge proof. They last for hours even with a lip gloss on top of them. And I just think they're really easy to work with. I really love all the colors, but this one in particular, definite holy grail for me. Okay, my last of my top 5 is going to be this blush. This probably won't surprise you guys because I have been singing the praises of this blush for months now. It is the Nabla 2 Reasons blush, particularly in the shade Touch My Soul. This is the best blush I have ever tried. I do love a cream blush. It gives me a little bit of plumpness to my cheeks, but more than anything, I mean, I love this blush formula, but the color of this is just the most perfect color. Now you get this like more opaque, very pigmented cream blush right here. And then this is kind of more of like a clear, very emollient kind of balm. So that's kind of what it looks like on its own. It has a subtle amount of color. Some of this color that you're seeing around the edges are just because I kind of go back and forth between these two, but it really just gives you more hydration. You can use that or you can just use the cream on its own, which is not quite as tacky. I find these wear really well on me. They don't move around. Even when I use the balm, I don't feel like they like melt off my cheeks. I do have dry skin, so I'm sure that has something to do with that. But man, you guys, I just love how much hydration these give my cheeks. It really helps to like plump up my skin. The color makes me look kind of fresh and young and youthful. And just that added hydration does my skin so many favors. I just love this. I have this other shade, Soft Nude, which I really like as well. But I think if I had to pick one, this is the most perfect shade and formula of a cream blush that I think I've ever tried. I love it so much. All right, and that is it. Those are my top 5 current Holy Grails, I did want to give one mention to a runner-up. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in Holy Grail videos in the past, and I'm sure that it won't surprise you guys. Have to be my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now lip liner. Did I say lip liner? I use this almost every single day, and I've been using it almost every single day for 6 or 7 years now. So just in case you stumbled upon this video and you are brand new and you've never heard me talk about this before, well, if you stay tuned, you'll hear me talk about it again or see it in nearly every video that I'm actually applying makeup. It's kind of my right-hand man when it comes to applying my makeup. I'm such a fan of just a small basic baby wing, especially with a dark brown eyeliner. I think it does so many favors for your eyes, especially if you're getting a little bit older and everything's just kind of starting to like fall and sag. Having that little wing gives you this like micro facelift that just does so many wonderful things for your eyes. It doesn't matter what shape your eyes are, having that little kind of like uplift wing right there just really helps you out, whether you're doing something more natural or something a little bit more dramatic. And this is just such an easy formula. It's nice and pigmented, but it's not so thick and rich and gel-like that it just deposits almost too much pigment to your eyes. I just think it's a little more user-friendly. It sharpens up to a nice sharp point every time I sharpen it, and above all, the price. This thing is 99 cents. You really just cannot beat that. And that is it, you guys. This is probably a short video. I feel like I got through that really fast, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I would love to know what your current Holy Grail makeup products are. Are you guys surprised that there were some things I did not include in here? This was tough. Sometimes these Holy Grail videos are a little stressful for me because I feel like I'm hurting someone's feelings, which I know is really stupid. And I probably shouldn't admit that on the internet. I am partially kidding, but I do think some of you will kind of understand where I'm coming from when I say that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me give you one final reminder. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure to do that before you leave, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.